My name is James Whitehead, and I live in Fishtown for going on 2 years.
Okay. My name is Deanna Smith. I am one of the proprietors for Dedicated to Quality Teaching, located at 621 East Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, 19125.
Okay. My name is Sergeant John Massey. I'm assigned to the 26th District. I've had this shop for 18 years, and I've been a sergeant for about 10 years, and assigned to the 26th for just over 2 years.
And what brought you here? Why did you want to move to Fishtown?
Well, I see that the area was getting really diverse with like whites, the blacks, Spanish, and the environment it improved so much. So I moved here, put you here with the nightlife as well. So.
And so, based on that, and that this is the Quality Education Center, can you tell us a little bit about kind of the educational opportunities in the area and how they might be changing with the way the dynamic of the culture around here has changed?
Well, there is a school right around the corner of Penn Treaty, which used to be a middle school that changed to a high school, I believe, last year. Their middle school fed into our high school, so I knew a lot about the children. And in the past, most of our children that came from Penn Treaty were predominantly Hispanic. We aren't receiving any children from Penn Treaty, so I don't know where they're going. Well, actually, they changed into a high school, so they're staying for higher education there. As far as like education for younger children, there are a couple of daycare centers in the area, but the number of children is much larger than the amount of care, especially quality care. There was an article put out maybe 2 weeks ago about quality care in Philadelphia, child care, and the Kensington area was like one of the lowest in the city. Not saying that they don't have daycare centers, but they don't have daycare centers with qualified individuals to instruct young children.
Okay. And what we've noticed is that a lot of young people are moving into this neighborhood.
Right.
And a lot of young people perhaps with more money than some of the people who historically lived here have. Has that had an effect on crime either way?
In and of itself, no. What happens is, in my prior experience in the South Division area, Point Breeze area, in Graduate Hospital area, Lower Southwest, when you have redevelopment, so new housing, new construction, that increases the crime rate because now you have the increased potential for property crime to occur. Sometimes with newcomers into our neighborhoods, their prior cities where they lived at, their prior addresses, they may not have had to lock their doors at nighttime, lock their car doors in their driveways. You're moving into Fishtown, which is adjacent to Kensington in North Philadelphia. You need to lock your doors in your home and your car doors. You need to take the valuables out of your car at nighttime. So a lot of times people will be initiated to the neighborhood and they become victimized, mostly property crime. But just the redevelopment itself, with all the new home construction, with scrap metal theft, stealing copper pipes, stealing car batteries, stealing other valuables, that has increased with the redevelopment, which is also associated with the gentrification from the area too. So.
Now, what about the neighborhood have you seen change? Like, what has been noticeable?
All right, because they on this side of Girard, okay. Let's say there's been back in the day. Let's say working to say that they had the little dive bars, you know, Fishtown bar. Say you know the bar right there on the front. Mm-hmm. Let's say they all used to be dive bars, you know. Mm-hmm. Because they go in there and say get a bed and a drink. But like I say, it changes with the neighborhood. Now I say I stepped in the bar one day, they came out with some beer I never heard of. And as far as changing prices, you know. But you know, it comes with the territory. Mm. And then, you know, a lot of things, say one thing is say, like I say, a lot of graffitis had not been done here.
Right.
But like you know, say I can't blame it on certain, but you know, say it gets different as that. And like I say, when I was over this side, like I say there was plenty of time, you know, say you had to jump up in the middle of the night and say your head, say, oh, leave me alone. Get up, say, yo, what's happening, man? Blah blah. Oh man, you don't live. I say, hey, I've been here. This is messed up, you know, 'cause I, you know, say it's not what you do, it's how you do it, you know.
And so, when we had spoke to the women next door, they said that you kind of were involved in a lot of community relations. Is that the case?
Correct.
Okay. And then, so do you hear complaints from people who have lived in this community about some of this redevelopment and bringing new people into the neighborhood?
No, for the most part, personally, no. I mean, as far as the residents, maybe among themselves, but I'm not aware of it. And issues like that usually don't arise to us. We always want redevelopment. It usually at some point will drive the crime down. So if you have a block that has vacant lots, abandoned properties, abandoned vehicles, where there's no ownership or caretaker for the block, which leads to blight. You know, it's that broken window theory. So once the block has homeowners and people that are concerned about the neighborhood, things will start to turn around at some point. So, and with that, new businesses are coming in, different kind of pubs and taverns that they didn't have in the area before. So, we know as a police department end of it, usually redevelopment will lower the crime rate at some point. And it brings more concerned citizens, and the civic groups will usually start to form too. So.
Okay, cool. So we have been talking to some different people, and we found that a lot of people are saying that the neighborhood has really changed a lot within the past like 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. So we're wondering if you have noticed any of those changes, and in which way.
Drastically changed. I mean, I've unlike my friends that live here, they've been lifelong residents. I've only been in Fishtown for like about 18 years, and in the 18 years that I've been here, I've seen it change drastically with the building, new condos and restaurants that are opening up in here. I think it's a change for the better, but I kind of like the old Fishtown. I guess everybody's skeptical of change, when it happens, but I just in fear that if the real estate market takes a plunge, then property values are going to go down. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's been something I feared for a little bit now. But all in all, I think it's changed for the better. I mean, as far as, like I said, the building of new homes in here and the restaurants here are just unbelievable.
I feel like in Fishtown it's a lot of younger families, I guess a little bit more diverse. I think historically it's really Irish. And actually my sister lives around here, but I think it is like a lot of younger families, diverse families with a little bit more income, and I think like historically it's Irish and low income. That's what I've seen.
Have you observed any changes, like are different types of people coming in, are people leaving?
Yeah, I'm not sure about people leaving, but I know it is a lot of people from out of state. Like I'm not from here, I'm from Maryland. And I know there's a lot of like bars and restaurants, especially Frankfurt has changed a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
And I know that there used to be like where La Coloma's used to be just an abandoned warehouse for a while. So yeah, I know there's a lot, and like this is a huge like nightlife area now.
Right.
Cool. And so this neighborhood, have you seen it change a lot the 2 years you've been here?
A lot. I've seen it change a lot. Like at first it wasn't a lot of business, but now it's starting to be a lot of business. Also, the real estate is starting to go up because of you got the Cigar House Casino, then you got the mini coaches coming into it. So a lot of people from New York City, even New York City developers are starting to come into the Fishtown area and starting to develop it in ways it creates value, not only with the real estate but also with the people.
And so, do you think that compared to maybe like 10 years ago that Fishtown is now a safer place to live due to some of the redevelopment and gentrification that's been happening?
It's hard to say that I wasn't here 10 years ago, but just talking to some of the veterans officers, it definitely has changed around a lot. It's hard to say gentrification, but they're kind of one and the same, because redevelopment normally leads to gentrification, because younger couples, outsiders will buy the newer homes, more expensive homes. People making a higher salary and everything. So it's made the area somewhat safer because you just the blocks have become more homeowners in an area. But Yeah, Fishtown has some old historical problems, but which it's more of a generational thing. But as far as having some new blood to the neighborhood changes things. People, I'll give you an example. Right across the street is the Fishtown Rec Center. For decades, that has been an issue as far as underage drinking and nuisance activity. Now with some new residents in the area, they don't appreciate. So we'll get more support from the community because it's not the old blood that's been here forever and has accepted the issue. So some of the newer folks won't tolerate it. In other words.
That's pretty much all the information I would have on that question.
And then, so the debate surrounding gentrification is some people say it's a good thing because some of the businesses around here that might have been boarded up or closed down and now have new faces.
Even since we moved here.
Really?
Like,
could you tell us a little bit about
we
that?
moved here. When we moved here on our street, those houses, those buildings that are right on the other side of the police station were abandoned. And then they're almost fully functioning. They're almost up and ready to be rented out. These places on to the left of us, they were a little bit above shelves, and they're almost ready to put doors on them. So I believe that it's going to bring a lot of business to the community, but I don't know if that is a good or bad thing. I feel like it could be good as far as bringing money into the community. But the family feel is going to be missing. I don't know how much money will be spent on programs for young children if there aren't any young children in the area. There is a Mommy and Me, like a Mommy and Me play group in the area, and we met them when we were out marketing. We market on Mondays. And we go to the playgrounds and places where kids would be. And they do meet, and it's not a lot of members. So it kind of made us think like, well, maybe this wasn't the best place for a daycare center because there are not as many young children as we expected it to be. Prior to this, we were leasing a building in Chestnut Hill. That doesn't have a lot to do with this but Chestnut Hill, they only had 4 daycare centers, and we were the 5th.
In all of Chestnut Hill?
In all of Chestnut Hill.
Do you think Fishtown's a good place to be?
Now, it's getting better. But say it's still a little crazy, but it's not as bad as what it used to be. Like I say, once they start on that side, they move on this side. And like I say, I hate to be in this situation. Like I say, about 5, 6 years ago, like I say, it was like, say, brothers in Spanish. And like I say now, sometimes I'll be, sitting up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You see, everybody walking back and forth, But that's a good thing, Like I say, but say what it was, as far as trying to move people out that's been here, for a while. I'm talking about elderly folks that's been in that house for like 20, 30 years. To say, they're trying to fix the thing up, and then they're giving them a little hardship about that,
Thank you so much.
And do you think that there has been an influx of more children with the way so a lot of young people are moving into this area, and then those young people may or may not be having children. So do you think that the numbers have changed with the gentrification that's going on in Fishtown?
I would say yes to that question because it makes sense, because younger people are not always married and they don't always, have children, families. But when we were doing our business plan for this area, we did look up the demographics. And I'm going to kind of estimate the number, but there were, it was around 25,000 children under the age of 5 in this area. We have gone out and met a lot of them in the community. When we were handing out our flyers for our open house, we tried to put flyers on cars with car seats, and there weren't as many cars with car seats as you would imagine. So I don't know if the numbers that is still on the demographic websites are accurate. they could be a little older because I think some of them came from 2011, 2012. There seems to be a lot less children than that around.
And are there a lot of young people that live in this area?
Yeah, it's a lot of young people.
Is that part of what was attractive to you?
Yeah, that was one of them. It was just like the mixture, the mixed cultures. It was like the mixed cultures with music, the mixed cultures with Africans, Americans, Caucasians, and all that. So that's what brought me to this area.
Right. And I am aware of what the broken windows theory is, but
Right.
would you mind just explaining that for the sake of our video?
So just the basic foundation is broken window theory, and it's the phrase pretty much points to what it is. If you have a situation of small amount of a nuisance issue, like a broken window to a building, the theory is that will lead to larger crimes. So if you let a broken window go, graffiti will happen, trash will happen, prostitution, drug sales, gun violence. So a minor nuisance issue becomes a major violent issue if you overlook it. So New York City Police Department, New York City is a big advocate of broken window theory, and that was the whole push 10 years ago to drive their crime rate down.
And that was just a side note in my own commentary here, and that's kind of how the mural arts program got its big rise.
Right.
And out of that.
Mural arts is an anti-graffiti initiative which goes against, goes against the quality of life nuisance issues. So beautification, which mural arts is a big thing.
I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, I'd imagine there's a lot of families up there,
Not
no?
children. It's
Wow.
like a third of the number in this area. Because most people who live in Chestnut Hill are older.
Older, retired.
Right, older, yes. But it is getting younger, so there is growing. But in areas like Fishtown, there is no business district yet. So once they establish a business district, they would kind of monitor all the businesses. You would have to pay a fee, which is good in a way because the businesses are monitored. You would know who's there in your competition as if you want to grow your business or start a new business in the area. So that could be a positive thing with the businesses coming. They will be more monitoring or some type of hub to go to where you would get information, be able to advertise. And all that kind of thing.
Having new businesses around and having young people move in, have you noticed that has had any change, has made any difference in the culture of the area or crime in the area or anything like that?
Well, the culture has changed a little bit, yeah. Like I said, we just... There's a younger generation that's moving in here. As far as crime goes, the crime, from what I've seen, on social media, we have our own, on Facebook, we have our own little page, Fishtown Safe Streets, and the reporting of crimes is it's going up. But I mean, we have 26th district is in constant communication with the community leaders here, So I mean, they're on the ball with it, But I mean, crime happens everywhere. You know what I mean?
And then just last question: if you had to describe the character of Fishtown, what would you say? It's
fluid. It's probably the best way I could sum it up. It's and it sits in a unique area. It almost borders Camden across the river, Kensington, North Philly, and it's surrounded by the river also. So a lot of things that happen in Fishtown at any given day, and with the gentrification, you have some strong strong Polish community on the top end of it. A lot of we like to call them urban pioneers, the newcomers that move into the area, and then some of the old folks that have been there forever and their families. A lot of fish towns who phrase themselves as fish heads. Generations will buy the house. So your kids, your cousins will buy the house down the block. It's almost like you save the house for your siblings or your children and everything. So it's pretty tight community for the older residents, and the new ones come in with the new development.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Have you noticed? Are a lot of young people moving into this area?
Yeah. There's been an influx of a lot of young people. And I guess it's because, they work close to Center City, and it's far more easily accessible to get to and from work, you know, with public transportation and everything like that. Yeah, there's been a big influx of younger people. I don't have nothing against that.
That's true. And what would, if you had to describe what's the character of Fishtown? Like, what kind of makes this area its own? What would you say?
The people. It's still a working class neighborhood, and there's still a lot of like original residents here who, you know, they take really good pride in this neighborhood. I mean, you could go walk over to Hetzel's Field down the street, and when I first moved in here, all that was basically a dirt field, and a couple of the people that live in here have taken over the playground, you know, literally, and done it for the better. I mean, I've never seen the field look as good as it does, and the upkeep is just great. I mean, they keep the field locked at night to keep kids out, you know. So, I mean, that's a big change, you know, here, as far as appearance goes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.